good morning. If you're watching this, well, you are watching this clearly. It's Monday, August 24th. You should have already completed your Fantastic Five. You should have watched your review video, and now you get to dive into your actual lesson. So I don't know if this camera is even on. I don't know if you can see the smartboard or not, but I'm going to look at the camera anyways, talking as if I'm speaking to you. I like doing it this way because if you're unable to watch me live, you're going to get the same exact lesson that I would teach in front of the whole class. Now, if you are able to watch me live, you're not going to get anything different from this. It's going to be basically the same thing. There's a few things that we'll skip over in the smartboard because they're going to be linked in your announcements with Google Forms, because some things we can't do through the smartboard. I had to make them into a Google form. So we're going to start throwing the word data around a lot. Because we're going to be looking at different graphs. We're going to be looking at bar graphs, frequency tables, double bar graphs, line plots, but we're really just going to start by looking at data. And before we even get into it, you got to know what data is. And the best way that I can describe it is really that data is information that you can gather. You can get this information from observing things or asking people questions or measuring things. So some data could be asking people, hey, what's your favorite number? Or, how many siblings do you have? What's your favorite day of the week? All of those kind of fall under the data umbrella. But the thing we're going to focus on today is whether or not data is something we call numerical or if it's categorical. So those are the two types of data that we're going to look at today. And when you hear the words numerical and categorical, really, you can find that root word and break it down, because when I look at the word numerical, I instantly think number, all right? And when you think of numbers, any type of data that you get, any type of question that you ask to gather information, if you're getting an answer that involves a number, that's going to be numerical data. If you're asking a question and people are answering with words, that's usually going to be categorical data, and you'll get to see examples of both of those in just a second. But we'll start with numerical data. And right here, you've got your definition. And this might be a really good spot for you to press pause, maybe take some notes. But it says it represents objects or individuals by numbers, numerical numbers. So anything that you can ask that they're going to answer your question with a number will give you numerical data. And some of these examples are great. Measurements are all numerical. Time, height, temperature. Because when you're, how tall are you? 6 feet. How hot is it outside? 85 degrees. What time is it? Or how long did it take you to run this race? 35 seconds. Those are examples. When you step on a scale, how much do you weigh? 175 pounds. And these are a few. There are an endless amount of examples. I got a couple more here. Number of teeth lost by first graders. Okay, so it could be super basic or it could be super advanced. You know, anything that they're going to answer with a number. So here we've got 4th grade students' heights measured, and down here, these are your numbers to show your numerical data. And down here, these numbers represent the actual heights, which you can see by the label, and all these X's just represent individual students. So this is a line plot that you'll see in a couple weeks, or in a couple days, I'm sorry. But these X's mean there are 2 students that were 43 inches high. There's 1 student that was 49 inches high, and so on and so forth. But you'll see some more of those coming up. With categorical data, again, you're not answering with numbers, you're answering with words, and normally you're able to put the data into certain groups. For instance, if you got to ask your favorite cookie, the groups here, you got snickerdoodle, chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, sugar cookie. None of those are numbers. If you ask somebody what their favorite cookie is, they're not going to say 15, okay? They're going to give you a category, they're going to give you a word, and this goes favorite color, favorite sports team, favorite anything. Any of those are normally going to go in categorical data. So I think it's kind of easy to be able to tell the difference between the two. Here's another example of a line plot, and this is actually showing numerical data, because if you look at the title, it says a number of siblings. So that right there kind of gives it away. But they've given you 5 statements from looking at this line plot, and some of them are accurate and some of them are not. So I'm actually going to read through them. I'm going to give you a second to look at the actual line plot, look at the data, and I'm going to give you a second to answer and tell me whether you think it's accurate or not. So when we look here, this is representing 0 siblings, 1 sibling, 2 siblings, 3, 4, and 5. These X's, again, just represent one person. This means there are 3 people that have no siblings. For 1 sibling, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 7 people who only have 1 sibling. So all those X's just represent one person who have that many siblings. So let's look at the first statement. Again, I'll stop for a second and let you decide. It says the difference in the number of siblings between the person with the most siblings, and the least amount is 4. First thing you got to know is being able to identify that key word. When you see the word difference, hopefully that light bulb goes off in your head and you should automatically think subtracting. So you know you're going to find the difference between the biggest and the smallest number. So you got to look at which is the biggest number of siblings. If you look at your number line or your numbers down at the bottom, there is one person who has 5 siblings. So 5 is going to be your first number. And then it says the least amount. So the least amount is actually 0 siblings because you've got 3 people who don't have any siblings. So if we want to know the difference in the number of siblings, the most is 5, the least is 0. Would that be accurate? It says that the least amount is, the difference between those is 4. I want to know if that would be accurate. This is where I should put the Jeopardy music. If you're finding the difference between those two numbers, 5 and 0, you would know that that statement is not accurate. The difference would actually be 5. All right, so with number 2, it says the number of siblings with the most X's is 1. You can kind of just do the eyeball test on this one. The number of siblings with the most X's is 1. That is accurate. All right. Number 3 says no one has 4 siblings. Again, eye test. Look at your data, look at your line plot, accurate or inaccurate. That one would be inaccurate. You do have one person who has 4 siblings. Number 4 says there were 20 people who were surveyed. All right, so I told you each of those X's just represents one person. So I'm going to give you a chance to count those and see if that's accurate. And while you do it, I'm going to do it too. All right, after you counted, you should have known that that is inaccurate. Unless I counted wrong, I'll double check. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's important to double check. Even though I was right, there were 21 people who were surveyed. That's why we always double check. That's inaccurate. And then number 5 is a really, really good question. It says the people surveyed have a total of 40 siblings. That doesn't mean there's 40 people who were surveyed. That just means that these people have a total of 40 siblings. So what I mean by that, it's kind of hard to say. We're going to add up all of these people. If these 3 people have 0 siblings, we just know that's a 0, okay? All of these people have all of these people have 1 sibling. So we're trying to get the total number of siblings. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 there. This is where it gets tricky. This row here, those 4 people each have 2 siblings. So that means 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. You got to skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Again, it's going to get more tricky. These people, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and all 5 of those people each have 3 siblings. So 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That would give me 15 total siblings in that column. Even though there's just one X right there, that one person has 4 siblings, and this one person has 5 siblings. When I see this word down here, total, that means I've got to add these together. I don't like to really add all these numbers at once. I maybe like to do a couple at a time. So maybe I'll start with 5 and 4, which I can kind of do that one mentally. I know that's 9, and I'd cross those out. All right, then I'd stick with my single digit numbers. I'd go ahead and add 8 to that. I'd get 17. All right, that leaves me with 15 and 7, so I'll go ahead and add 15 to that. In my ones place, 5 plus 7 is going to give me 12. 2 stays, 1 goes. And then 1 plus 1 plus 1 is going to give me 3. Got 32. That's crossed out, and then that just leaves me with 7. And if I did 32 plus 7, I know that's kind of sloppy. That would give me 39. So if it says the people surveyed have a total of 40 siblings, that would also be inaccurate because that answer would be just a little bit lower than what or that number is a little bit higher than it actually would be. So that just lets you look at the data and actually prove some things wrong or decide if it was correct or not. And again, this is numerical data. Moving forward, so this right here, I'm actually going to skip right by because your Google form is actually your activity that you're going to do is this. You're going to get 10 different, I think this gives you 12, but I'm just going to give you 10 different, I'm trying to think how I should say this, 10 different observations that people are trying to make, or surveys, or any type of way that they're gathering data, and you got to decide if the data that they are getting is numerical or categorical. And if you kind of iffy on what those definitions are, you've got this video. You can scroll back. Remember, numerical is usually going to get you information or data with numbers, and categories is going to be with words. So you've got this video to rewind if you need to, and that score will get released to you as soon as you submit it. So you'll know how you did instantly. But we actually can do a little bit of practice here together. I wish you guys could be in the classroom to do this with us. But what we've got is, I don't know if you can see this on my screen. I'm hoping you can't because it's right in the way. But you see we got two spaceships. We got a categorical one and a numerical one. So we've got a whole bunch of different data options down at the bottom. I'm going to read it out loud, and I don't care if where you're at. If you're at home, at mom's work, wherever you are, I want you to say the answer out loud. And you might look crazy talking to a computer. That's okay. I'm going to read it, and I just want you to say out loud if it's categorical or numerical. All right. So it says, what is your favorite encore class? If you said categorical, you are correct. How many minutes do you spend completing chores each week? If you said numerical, you are correct. Because minutes, you're going to give me a number there, right? What is your favorite sport? That would be categorical because you're answering with words. You're not going to say your favorite sport is 19. What is your favorite video game? That would also be categorical. Fortnite, this and that, whatever you guys play. How do you travel to school in the morning? That would also be categorical. And look, your bus might have a number, but when we're talking how do you get to school, bus, car, van, whatever, that would be categorical. Next one, how many siblings do you have? That would be numerical. I have 2 siblings. That would be numerical data. What is your favorite flavor ice cream? That would be categorical, and the answer is strawberry. Describe your favorite summer vacation. So think about how you would answer that. You can answer that with words or with numbers. With words. That would be categorical, and the answer, baseball at Wrigley Field. Next, what is your favorite pizza topping? That would also be categorical. Do not call Domino's and say, hey, can I get a pizza with 7, 6, 12, and 15? Because they're not going to have any idea what you're talking about. Pepperoni and cheese, that's all you need. How tall are you in inches? Remember, measurement, we're talking numerical. I'm 6 feet. There's 12 inches in 6 feet. 6 times 12 is, study your facts, 72 inches. What did I just say? I think I said it right. Hope it was right. Next, what is your least favorite color? Think about how you would answer that. That would be categorical. I'd say probably green. Probably green. How many hours do you spend on your device each day? You would answer that with numbers, numerical. And normally I'd say you better not be on there much, but with virtual learning, hopefully you're on there utilizing your time wisely. Next, you've got how many minutes do you read each day? You better be reading or Miss G's going to get you. You would answer that with a 30 minutes a day. That would be numerical. How much does your backpack weigh? Another measurement. Hopefully we're not weighing you down with too much stuff. That would also be numerical. Couple more. It says, how long does it take you to travel to school in the morning? That goes with time. That's something we measure with numerical data. And last but not least, how many pets do you have? Numerical data, just one, Big Albert. And that, right, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. That was kind of sick. So I hope this kind of broke it down for you in a way that's easy for you to understand. If not, Zoom with me, email me. Anything you need, let me know so we can get you taken care of. I do think you guys will probably do pretty good on that independent practice, that data sort. That's on your announcement. And then after that, you have homework that you need to complete. I think it's 5 questions. It does not need to be done immediately after this. If you want to take a little break, relax a little bit, go for it. You've got all day to get it done. Because you also have to knock out your iReady math diagnostic if you haven't finished it yet. But you've got all week to do that too. So you've got time to get stuff done. I don't want you to feel rushed. But hopefully this video helps you. Again, if you need me, guys, let me know. That way I can get you taken care of. But I hope you have an awesome day, and we will see you back here tomorrow.